Welcome to America, where every man, woman, and child celebrates major life events by blowing stuff up. Where all 50 states and Guam, Puerto Rico, the District of Columbia, U.S. Virgin Islands, American Samoa, and the Northern Mariana Islands are united by the glory of a gram and a spectacle of all things going kablam. America, where revealing a little varmint's gender is now more statistically dangerous than your doctor's bad handwriting. Pop that intro, son. Made in USA.
Hey ya, hillbillies and outlaws! You're watching Made in USA, where we take all our American content and slap it together until it kinda sorta makes sense. This week, we're looking into a trend that threatens the very foundation of this great nation: gender reveal parties. Americans have gone from cutting colored cakes and popping confetti to busting out the heavy artillery for a bigger, bolder, and more explosive display of "What's my baby gonna be?" Human, Brenda. It's gonna be human. So hop on this wild ride as we judge would-be parents who are doing their darndest to be boomers. Get it? Boom. Coming in at number 5 is a Nebraska couple who welcomed their firstborn with a bang that turned out to be not at all legal. Then dad-to-be John Sturkle used an exploding target and some blue chalk powder to let friends and family know he and his wife Ashley were gonna have a boy. Problem is, the bang was so loud everyone within a 3-mile radius heard it. Folks didn't know what John, his wife, or their baby were up to, so they thought a house or a car engine had blown up and called the sheriff. John later found out how much of a tizzy he set the whole town into, and called the sheriff's office to explain. He also apologized on Facebook for the confusion. Well, as it turns out, setting off an explosive without a required state permit is a misdemeanor in the great state of Nebraska, punishable by either a year in the slammer and a $1,000 fine. Guess who didn't know that and got himself a ticket? And guess who's never going to explode something ever again? In Nebraska, anyway. This week's Florida moment is brought to you by the Australians, who did something so dumb. Not once, but twice. They deserve to be named honorary Floridians. I mean, one of these shenanigans did happen in Queensland after all. Both stunts involved burnouts and ended up the same way, a fiery mess. The first one went down in 2018 and starts off as burnouts do. Loud revving, lots of tire spinning, and a ton of pink smoke. Hey, it's the girl! Friends are happy, family's excited, and then
I said, "Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire."
The second stunt a couple of months later in July features a 29-year-old driver we'll call Mad Max, who so graciously does the burnout for a friend having a baby boy. We first see him revving up the engine and spinning the wheels to create a ginormous cloud of blue smoke in the middle of the road. He starts driving while still puffing up clouds of blue as excited onlookers ooh and ah. And then it all goes straight to hell. All that's missing is Satan himself. If you ask me, Mad Max got a bit too ambitious with his burnout. He should have stopped after the 30-second mark, but the revving just went on and on and on until
I said, "Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire." Not good.
Not only did his car say bye-bye, he was also convicted on one count of dangerous operation of a motor vehicle, charged a $1,000 fine, and banned from driving for 6 months. That's probably the last time he's doing anything for a friend. The cherry on top of this already melted cake is that Queensland police also put up the video of the burnout gone boom to warn other parents and friends of parents to please, for the love of Vegemite, don't do it. Third on the list is this gender reveal feat in Turkey, Texas that makes the Aussie burnout seem like child's play, after it quite literally crashed and fell. Who needs pink smoke when you can get a pilot friend to crop dust a field with 350 gallons of pink water in honor of your unborn female child, am I right? But while the gender reveal part of the flight went swimmingly, the rest, not so much. The single-seat aircraft, which had 2 people in it, apparently got too slow and stalled. Oh gee, I wonder why. The plane ended up crashing into a field and getting wrecked. But pilot Raj Horan and his female co-pilot got out with only minor, non-life-threatening injuries. You lucky dogs. Meanwhile, the rest of us cursed folk get wrath if we so much as toe the danger line. Thanks, universe. At number 2 is an off-patrol border agent who made all the headlines after his gender reveal stunt resulted in millions of dollars worth of damage. Back in 2017, Dennis Dickey and his pregnant wife threw a party near Green Valley, Arizona to reveal their baby's gender. Dear old Dickey was going to shoot at a target containing explosive tannerite and a colored powder, blue for boy and pink for girl. You really should know this by now. As an agent of law enforcement, poor old Dennis really should have thought this through. Because when he blasted that bullet, it ended up setting off an explosion that then ignited a giant wildfire. Uh-oh. All in all, the gender reveal stunt ended up costing Arizona 47,000 acres of scorched land and $8.2 million. Dennis, the accidental arsonist, has since been slapped with a misdemeanor and 5 years probation plus over $220,000 in restitution. Also, in case you were dying to know, it was a boy. You'll want to stick around for the insanity that is number 1. But before that, here's a gender reveal shtick you probably haven't seen before. And for good reason. Lol, obviously the whole thing is
Fake news.
but you gotta admit, it was pretty darn funny. Anyway, on with the show. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Duck! At a gender reveal party in Iowa, things not only went off with a real big bang, but ended up actually doing someone in. According to the Associated Press, family members wanted to pull off a shindig no one would ever forget. So like any proper American, they turned to explosives. The A-team apparently welded a metal cylinder to a stand and packed it full of gunpowder. They then drilled a hole for a fuse and placed wood on top of the stand. Colored baby powder was then layered on top of the wood. The family meant for the device to shoot powder up into the air. Problem was they taped the top of the cylinder shut and inadvertently turned the contraption into a homemade pipe bomb. Told you this wasn't gonna end well. On the day of the party, 6 family members, including the pregnant lady, got together to set it off. When they lit the fuse, instead of colored powder shooting into the air, the entire device exploded outward. The blast sent a piece of metal debris flying towards 56-year-old Pamela Kreimeier, who got hit right on the head and is now taking a dirt nap. Poor grandma. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this wasn't what they were thinking when they imagined an unforgettable gender reveal party. And while I'm sure most of us are hoping people would remember poor Pam Kreimeier when they decide to blow more stuff up, Americans are so obsessed with things that go boom that we probably have to sit through a lot more disastrously explosive gender reveals before the trend finally dies a natural death.
Good luck to us all.
There you have it, folks. Another crazy compilation for the good old US of A. Tune in next week for more of Merga Bits. In the meantime, go watch last week's episode here if you haven't already. And if you have, watch it again. There will be a pop quiz. Also, don't be shy. Give us some sugar by subscribing here. Follow them arrows and hit that notification bell. It ain't rocket science. Peace, homies!